Am I the a-hole for kicking my sister-in-law out after she threw away most of my single-use baby products and even formula? I'm 19, female. I have a 3-week-old baby girl. I do still live with my parents, but since I pay rent equally, they say I can have just as much of a say in who comes and goes from the house as they do. I've never actually taken advantage of this rule until recently enough. I have a brother who's 26 and his wife is 24. They are crunchy parents to an 8-month-old. Basically what that is, freaking stupid. They use reusable wipes/nappies. Think formula is the epitome of evil. Baby wearing, the list just goes on. While I'm the complete opposite. Pacifiers, supplementing with formula due to low supply, disposable wipes and nappies. They are completely against the products I use. It often give me things like sister-in-law's milk in bags, disposable nappies their little one has grown out of, etc. I've used some, but it's not really my cup of tea. On Monday nights, my brother and sister-in-law were minding my baby for me since it was my birthday, and my baby's father, not together, very close friends and co-parents, took me to get some dinner in one of my favorite fast food places. It was great and really relaxing. When I got home that evening, my sister-in-law said that she did some cleaning and threw out anything I don't need. This immediately gave me red flags, but they were in a hurry to get out the door and left almost immediately. When I went into the nursery, every disposable nappy and wipe pack was gone and replaced with some reusable cloth ones. Same with my formula. There were 8 tubs and all of it was gone. I'm not able to replace them at the moment, and solely breastfeeding isn't sustainable for us. I was extremely angry, and I just turned my phone off to avoid being mean to my sister-in-law. Then she and my brother came over yesterday to collect something they forgot, and that was when I confronted her. I told her she has to replace everything she dumped. When she said she can't afford to, I said fine. Just get out and don't come back until I've been reimbursed or everything is replaced with original items. My brother thinks I'm being a massive a-hole, and he's on his wife's side. Our parents think I'm being completely reasonable here, but they think telling her essentially not to come back is taking it too far. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. Not an a-hole. Throwing away unused disposable diapers is even worse than using them and throwing them away. They're still going to the same place, but have now doubled. Formula is expensive, and you say you're supplementing. Your baby's still getting breast milk, but needs a little more. That's why formula was created. Your sister-in-law was way out of line. Even if she doesn't agree with your parenting style, she has no right to sabotage it. It's the baby that will suffer. She needs to replace it all or give you the money to replace it. I'm actually using formula around 80% of the time. Baby gets breastfed 1 to 2 times a day, and even after that, sometimes a bottle is needed because I simply just can't produce much. Any amount of breast milk is a wonderful gift to your baby. Keep up the great work and don't let your sister-in-law get you down. Breastfeeding advocates are extremely judgy. It's a cult. I did it for a year, and was almost defeated by books promoting the notion that there is no such thing as low supply. I had plenty of milk most of the day, but my supply was indeed low in the evenings. That was not in my head. It was real, but they're not above mind games. I recall the trauma of my evening failures, crying because I'd come to believe the formula was poison and I was poisoning my baby. Obviously, I woke up to reality eventually. I encountered this, and I nursed for 2.5 years. I started giving kiddos some whole milk in a cup around 9 months. In one group I was in, you would have thought I'd fed them a couple shots of insecticide. OP, fed is best. Bottle or otherwise is irrelevant. So she saved the environment by throwing away all of your supplies? Makes sense. Not a hole. And your sister-in-law has a screw loose. I'm sure she has a replacement screw somewhere. It's reusable after all. Although I think she might need to replace all of them. I'm sorry, Opie, but your sister-in-law is out of her mind. Talk about waste. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my husband that his bereaved brother has to leave after he made my son wet himself? Hear me out, please. My husband's brother Ryan lost his late fiancée to brain cancer 10 months ago. It was a tremendous loss, and he struggled a lot with grief and stopped working or seeing family and friends. My husband and I helped with many things. We sent Ryan meals and clean clothes, but he never touched them. He used to live at the apartment he and his fiancée lived in, but he couldn't bear even sleeping there because he said everything reminded him of her. So he asked if he could move in with us till he could sell the place. Ryan's got better after staying with us, but recently Ryan's been keeping the bathroom busy for periods of time at day and especially at night. There were times when me, my husband, my 7-year-old son needed a bathroom and it wasn't available. Ryan would walk in, lock the door, and stay there for some time. Don't know what he's doing in there and it's not my business. I never ask, but politely ask to not keep the bathroom busy at night because my son frequents the bathroom at night and should find it available, or at least if he was using it, and my son knocked, then it's a sign my son needs to go. He said he understood. But Monday at 2 in the morning, my son woke me up saying he needed a bathroom but his uncle kept it busy, resulting in him wetting himself after he tried knocking and waiting for 10 minutes. He said he told his uncle he needed a bathroom to pee, but his uncle told him to hold in a little longer. I was pissed after I cleaned my son up. I talked to Ryan in the morning. It argued about ignoring my son's need to use the bathroom and turning him away and making him to wet himself. Ryan said my son could have held it in for a few minutes, and that my son must suffer from medical condition to wet himself like that. My husband said it was no big deal, but I told him this is affecting my son's life, and his brother needed to either stop blocking the bathroom or go stay somewhere else. He shamed me for treating his bereaved brother this way, but I asked him if he was okay with our son developing health issues by wanting him to hold in all the time. He said his brother's struggling with grief, in need of space, but I was too hard on him over a small issue. I insisted that he leaves, and my husband said I'm usually overreacting. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. Possible substance usage. Your brother-in-law will traumatize your child if you continue to let him live there. At least for your child, stand your ground and have him move to another place and get him the help he needs. Also, your husband is an inconsiderate a-hole for jeopardizing your child's health. Having to hold pee can cause many problems. He's probably staying out of his brother's way out of respect. But 10 months on is when he needs to intervene or get him outside help. Not the a-hole. What a sad situation. To be honest, I'd be willing to bet a month's rent that your brother-in-law has become addicted to something while trying to deal with his grief. I think he's hogging the bathroom to use. It's a super tough situation, and I feel for your brother-in-law. But it's only natural that your child comes first. You wouldn't be an a-hole for kicking him out. Maybe it's time to ask him what he's doing in there. Make a plan based on his reaction. Get him some help, maybe. It never even dawned on me that it was drugs, but I bet you're right. Not the a-hole. Epi, it's time for your brother to get professional help. After 10 months, either he's not learning to function with his grief, or he has found other means to cope, but both of these ways are having negative impacts on a young child. Your son does not deserve to live like this. Not to mention the emotional and psychological impacts this will have on him if he continues to be denied access to a bathroom until he urinates on himself as a potty-trained child. Your brother-in-law needs help, and he needs to get out of your house and to a place, whether it's another family member's home, a facility, a roommate situation, whatever, where he can get the help he needs without placing your son in such an awful position. Your husband needs to get on board. You are not overreacting. Physical too. Holding in urine can cause all sorts of medical issues, including infection. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for not grounding my stepson for not eating my mom's food and talking back? This might sound weird, but my stepson Joey talks like a grown man. He's 9, but oh my, he's such a gentleman. He has a smart mouth and talks in a witty manner, and he has a personality of a 30-year-old. Admittedly, he takes after his father and picks on a lot of what his father says. Another thing I noticed is that he tends to act protective of his dad. How do I explain it? For example, when my husband introduced me to him first time. He told me to take care of his dad and not make him cry. My response was to laugh, but felt a bit intimidated honestly. So, Joey brings his own meals that his dad cooks for him when we visit my parents on the weekend because of his allergies. Mom complained about it, saying we were spoiling him rotten by letting him disrespect table manners and not eating what's presented at the table. I explained that Joey isn't doing this because he's a picky kid, but he has food allergies and intolerance, so she should understand that. But every single time we visit should give us grief because of it. Last weekend we visited for dinner and there were formal guests. Joey brought his own meal and joined us to eat at the table. Mom saw his plate, got up from her seat and said, "No, you don't. You're eating what I cooked tonight, mister." My husband gave her a look. I told her to stop, but she said she got this, then proceeded to grab Joey's plate. Joey moved it out of her reach and said no. I said, "Mom, leave him alone." But she threw a fit and lectured me about how Joey's being spoiled and will be fine if he ate what she put on the table. She tried to convince Joey to hand her his plate, but he refused. She tried guilting him, saying Grandma will be upset if he didn't eat what she cooked and will cry because of it. That's when it told her in strict voice, "Cry me a river, build a bridge, and get over it, lady. I'm keeping my dinner." She was shocked, but everybody else started laughing. My husband's face turned red and he just paused. Mom walked into the kitchen and was so upset. She lost it after the guests left and said Joey was behaving like a spoiled brat with his god-awful, slick attitude and talk-back nonsense. She demanded I step up, get a grip, and start showing him consequences by giving him a punishment for what he said/did. I told her he has allergy and cannot eat her food, period, and nothing's gonna change that. She got more upset and claimed I avoid punishing Joey just to please my husband. She literally cried, saying she got embarrassed in front of guests, and I should punish Joey for his attitude towards her, but I refused. My husband wanted to apologize, but I saw no need of it. She hasn't been speaking to us ever since. Now for the comments. Not Day Hall. I told her he has allergy and cannot eat her food, period. I'm assuming that Grandma doesn't cater to his food needs. I'd just stop visiting Grandma if she's upset about him not eating food that can harm him. If she wants to see him, she can meet at your house where he can eat food that he is comfortable with. Sounds like the kind of grandma who'd feed him something that he's allergic to on purpose just to see. But Grandma's right. You do need to show the spoiled brat that there are consequences for their actions. She just needs to understand that she is the brat. No more visits to Grandma's. Not Day Hall at all. Food allergies are nothing to mess around with, and your mother needs to understand that. She wouldn't listen to first, or second, or third time. Both you and your stepson said no, and then she tried to emotionally manipulate Joey. This is 100% on her, and she should honestly be ashamed. Which is the point at which the father and Opie both should have stopped bringing him over there and inflicting this on him. Not Day Hall. She embarrassed herself. Joey sounds like a legend. Good on him for standing up for himself, although that is actually your task, not his. Right? I'm saving that clap back for future use. Lol. Brilliant. Last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for buying my son's matching gifts and not getting anything for my stepchildren? I married my husband 15 years ago. He was no longer with his kid's mom. They were never married, had their first kid senior year of high school and stayed together for 5 years. Ever since we said I do, things have been rocky. My stepkid's mom ended up being left at the altar, and it made her bitter toward me and my husband. To make our lives just as hell as hers, she started to alienate the kids from us, would encourage them to run away when alone with me, tell people I had kidnapped them, etc. Would tell them I had been the other woman who seduced their dad and made their family break up, etc. It lasted for 3 years, and that's when the kids eventually came into our custody and she was ordered to attend therapy and parenting classes. 2 years later, she started getting weekends again, and then parenting time was back 50-50. But she resumed her crap talking. What makes it worse was even with them living with us full-time, having them in therapy and doing family therapy, the kids still believed everything they had been told. We had 2 kids of our own during all this, our boys, and my stepchildren never accepted them as their brothers. Then when they were all teens, they decided to spend most of the time with their mom. It was tough to see how things had gone, but we had to accept it. My stepkids are now 23, 21, and 18, and my boys are 7 and 5. The youngest one graduated high school this summer. That was when the kids got together to tell my husband that they were having a dinner for the youngest's graduation, but I was not welcome and neither were our boys. That there was no place in their lives for us and we were not welcome to try and play a part anymore. It was upon reading that when I decided I would just be done. No more open to anything or hoping for more while accepting their boundaries. I would just be done. And after that, I went out and I got my boys a gift I had wanted to get for a while. They're little matching items that I want to give them someday, but I'm not sure when yet. Each item has a personal message from me to them on it. My husband knew about it. One day, my sister-in-law was over to borrow a pair of earrings, and she found a gift while helping me search. She then told her parents, my husband's parents, and the 3 of them confronted me and said I should have bought something for my stepkids too. That while things are bad now, I have been a mother figure in their lives since they were young, and I shouldn't give up on our relationship. And not getting anything makes it a certainty that things will never get better. My husband told them I don't need to keep getting crapped on. But are they right? Am I the a-hole? If you and your children are not welcome, then neither are your gifts. Not the a-hole. The stepkids are all now legally adults. And while it's sad and disappointing they've chosen to entirely exclude their stepmother and half-brothers from their lives, they're allowed to do that. And it sounds like Opie and her husband are in agreement that if they want nothing to do with her and the kids, fine. But she's under no obligation to try and be nice anymore either. So long as the husband and Opie are still on the same page about their relationship with each other and with their 2 boys, it's now the husband's job to figure out how to handle his adult children. Not the a-hole. I don't even think it's about your needing or not needing to treat the kids equally or any history. The stepkids are now adults and have enacted boundaries. In my opinion, respecting that includes gifting. First of all, if all the kids were bio kids and the family dynamic was fine, I still would not expect 2 children who are 5 and 7 to be treated the same 3 adult men. Who would? Second, yes, they all decided jointly the OP is not a part of their family. Okay, that means she has no obligation to do anything for them. Not the a-hole. If the stepchildren had been younger and closer in age to your kids, I would judge differently. But since they are adults and have informed you that you have no place in their lives, there's no way you could be the a-hole here. My husband told them I don't need to keep getting crapped on. He sounds like a smart guy. Not the a-hole. Am I the a-hole for not welcoming my felon brother-in-law into my home/life? My husband's brother is a total degenerate. Zach is what I'll call the brother-in-law. Zach has no relationship with his family except for his mom and dad. Zach is over 40 years old and has never lived on his own, except for the stints in prison and living in the woods. Zach is definitely slow mentally. Zach has always been bailed out by my in-laws. They have hired attorneys to expunge records and reduce sentences, and they have allowed him to live with them rent-free. He has 0 responsibilities. He doesn't cook, clean, or contribute in any way. He has wrecked about a dozen vehicles, and they keep co-signing or buying more for him. Recently, we were notified by hospital, out of the blue, that Zach and his homeless addict girlfriend had a child. The hospital called us to inform all family members and let us know that DCF would be contacting kin for placement. This was a total shock, as Zach doesn't speak to us or his other brother at all. Once again, my elderly in-laws have chosen to bail Zach out and foster the baby. My husband was beside himself with the whole situation, as we and his other normal brother all live very normal, healthy, and honorable lives. I did feel so sad for the innocent baby and bought thousands of dollars worth of items for the in-laws to be equipped to parent this infant. I sent gifts and went to the NICU to visit the baby. It's been almost a full year and we have not heard from Zach. No thank you, no Merry Christmas, no acknowledgement of the situation. Nothing. 0. My in-laws prioritize Zach over everyone else. They baby him and always have. My son's birthday was this weekend and we had plans for months for my in-laws to come to our home to celebrate with their grandson. I made arrangements, got a cake, and was prepared for the celebration. The day before, yesterday, they told me they were bringing Zach with them. I asked if they could come alone. They flipped out and said it was sad that Zach wasn't welcome in our home, and then informed me that they wouldn't be coming at all. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to be forced into a relationship with Zach? I don't feel comfortable with him around my children or in my home. Now for the top comments. Stick to your guns here. If that means the in-laws don't come, then the in-laws don't come. Do not let that man into your life at all. If your husband doesn't support you in this, take your kid out for a fun day when they're supposed to be there and let your husband deal with it. Do not bend on this, or you will regret it forever. My husband and his other normal brother are fully aligned on this. They want nothing to do with Zach after all these years of nonsense. Dealing with someone in a similar situation, and kindness shown to Zach will be used, abused, and listed as you being selfish when you can't or won't give anymore. Cut ties and cut your losses. Some people will never learn and expect/demand the world to treat them as their enablers have and will still blame everyone else for their transgressions. Not the a-hole. It's really sad that your in-laws can't see why it is a bad idea to bring a felon who has committed violent and drug-related crimes to a child's birthday party, especially a child who probably doesn't even know him. I don't think any reasonable person would think that's a normal or reasonable request at all. Good on you for standing your ground. Your son might be sad about it, but it's still better than potentially risking him hearing about all the stuff Zach has done. Thank you. The wild part is that they're doing this all to make Zach look good to the state child welfare services. They want him to appear as though he's turned over a new leaf and has relationships with his brothers and nieces and nephews. They stage these events for photo ops to send to the Department of Social Services in an attempt to make Zach look good to the state. My mother-in-law has admitted she wants to take pictures to show the state many times. There's a clear motive for them to push this guy on us. Wow, that's even worse. So they're not just turning a blind eye to his behavior and enabling it, they're actually trying to use everyone around them to shield him from consequences as well. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mom she can't share a room or a bed with her boyfriend in my home? When I, 27 female, was in college, I met my boyfriend, and after dating for a year, we moved in together, sharing a place with some friends. I was 19 when we met and 20 when we moved in together. We decided from that point onward to take turns spending Christmas with our families. However, the first year we were supposed to see mine, my mom made it clear that my boyfriend could not stay and that we wouldn't be allowed to share a room or a bed in her house. My dad argued in favor of letting it happen, since I was an adult and already living with him, but my mom said no. She hated that I wouldn't stay at their house and instead booked an Airbnb. She said I should respect the rules of her house, and I told her I was. But I didn't want to leave my boyfriend alone on the holidays, especially since his family had happily welcomed us together. After that, I made it clear there would be no visits like that if I couldn't share a room with my boyfriend. My mom said it wasn't like we were married, so she had every right to enforce that rule. 2 years ago, my dad passed away, and for the last 11 months, my mom has been in a relationship with her boyfriend. They don't live together exactly, but according to my brother, he's there most nights while my brother was still living at home. My mom and brother aren't really talking right now. My brother could hear my mom and her boyfriend in bed, and he hated it, so he moved out. He's 22 and wanted to move out anyway, but the situation gave him the final push. My mom was furious and demanded to know why he was leaving so suddenly. She freaked out when my brother told her he was tired of hearing them. That set her off, and she accused him of not being happy for her after she found someone new following my dad's death. It seems like my mom is missing having my brother around, and she told me she misses having her kids with her. She mentioned wanting to visit me for a week or two soon and said she wanted to bring her boyfriend along. I told her she couldn't share a room or bed with him in my home. I also told her I didn't want to hear them. She got mad at me and said she's a grown woman and should be allowed her freedom. I reminded her that she had no problem denying me the same thing, even though I wasn't even planning to have sex in her house. It sounded like she doesn't care if people hear or not, and I'm not dealing with that. I also told her I wasn't going to reward her by allowing her to share with her boyfriend after how strict she was with me. My mom accused me of acting like a petty child. Not the a-hole. What goes around comes around. Your mom, one rule for thee and another for me. Not the a-hole. Your mom is a massive hypocrite and getting a taste of her own medicine. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. She made her bed, pun intended, with those strict rules about your boyfriend, and now she's mad when the same standards apply to her? Classic rules for thee but not for me situation. Plus, making your brother move out because they were so loud? Major yikes. Stand your ground, OB. The audacity of her calling you petty is just chef's kiss ironic. Your mom has her boyfriend over nearly every night. It is apparently quite loud and can be heard clearly. Why would she miss having her kids around? Sounds to me like she wants free holiday accommodation for two. Not the a-hole. Your house, your rules. I don't think she expected to hardly ever see her kids. Even when I moved out, she still had my brother, but he doesn't see her at all now, and I don't live close.
I think that's part of it. Heck, from the fight she and my brother had, it sounds like she wants us to hear her with him. What did she say to your brother? She told him it was a bad reason or excuse to move out, and that we should be happy for her. My brother told her that being happy for her is different from hearing her go at it with someone. She told him that was proof he wasn't happy for her. And honestly, I don't know how to take that. It's why it feels like some weird and twisted part of her wants us to hear. The other thing is, she never even tried to deny they were loud. She just acted like not wanting to hear it meant he was unsupportive. Not wanting to hear your parents slap genitals with someone means you're not happy for them? Please repeat that back to her, because I'm betting all children everywhere would qualify for that definition of not wanting to hear them bumping uglies. According to my mom, it does. She acted like my brother told her to stay single forever, when he said he was moving out because he didn't want to hear them. Maybe that's how she's taking it, but it's so reasonable. Her whole reaction to it was so weird and just gross. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my ex's wife to mind her own freaking business when she confronted me in public over my ex's mom giving me a gift for my 30th birthday? I, 30 female, celebrated my birthday recently, and my ex's mom stopped by to give me a very nice birthday gift. My ex and I have been divorced for 6 years, but we have 2 kids together, aged 11 and 9, so it was unexpected. I got along really well with his family when we were together, and we're still friendly when we see each other, but we were never particularly close. When my ex's mom showed up with a gift, she explained that she wished we'd stayed in touch more. She said she wanted to honor the mother of her grandchildren and show appreciation for all I've done. It was sweet, and we spoke for a little while. The gift was sentimental in nature, which made it extra special to me. It was a lovely gesture, and I never expected it to cause any trouble, but it did. With my ex's wife. She confronted me in Target a week ago and started cursing and yelling at me for intruding in my ex's family. She told me the only reason my ex's mom would give me a gift is because I'm trying to keep my claws in my ex's family, instead of accepting that I'm an ex. She demanded I either give the gift to her or return it to my ex's mom and refused to accept anything in the future. I told her to leave me alone and walked away. She approached me again as I was heading to pay. I tried to go around her, but she put her hand on the cart and told me I wasn't walking away from her again. She said I needed to stop being so meddlesome and pushing her out of her family. She told me I was nasty for accepting a gift from my ex's mom and had no business allowing something like that. I interrupted her as she started attracting attention and told her to mind her own business and stay away from me because we have no reason to talk. I paid for my stuff and left before she could confront me again. The encounter ticked me off, but I was going to let it go. Then my ex started texting me later in the week, telling me I needed to apologize to his wife because she's the stepmom to our kids, and I shouldn't be treating her that way. I replied that I did not appreciate her behavior toward me in public and would not be replying further. He told me I just needed to apologize and that I was out of order for treating her like she was wrong to have her own feelings about this. He said I had damaged the co-parenting relationship between myself and them. I know I could have ignored her, but I also know apologizing won't fix anything because I still have and wear the gift, which is a mother charm bracelet. My ex's wife will insist I need to return or dispose of it to let this go, and I don't think I'm wrong for accepting it. I can accept that I may have been wrong for speaking to her that way though. So am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. How is any of this your fault? Ex should speak with his wife and his mom if he wants to get at the root of this problem. Not the a-hole. Clearly I'm supposed to reject anything from ex's family, even conversation. Because who knows how his wife would react to seeing us talk in any kind of friendly way in public. She might have an even bigger outburst. You might as well unbirth his children while you're at it. She doesn't need that stress in her life. What does she expect you to do? Make her husband virginal again? She didn't know he had a relationship before she married him? I understand she's insecure, but her logic never entered the picture. She maybe expected everyone to ignore me and act like I don't exist. But with kids in the picture, it was always going to be unrealistic. They could hate me, but that wouldn't be healthy for the kids. It's possible there are big issues with her and ex's family, and that's why. But that's between them and her, not me. I'm not a part of it anymore. She's allowed to have her feelings. What she's not allowed to do is tell OP what she will and will not do. I have to wonder why your ex's wife is feeling so insecure. What is happening in that relationship? You having a positive relationship with your kids' grandparents is a boon for all concerned, mainly your kids. Don't let her disrupt that, not the a-hole. Not the a-hole. I mean, she cornered you in a public space and caused a scene over a thoughtful gift you received for being a good mom. You don't owe her an apology for defending yourself against her baseless insecurity. If anything, your ex should focus on calming his wife down instead of enabling her unreasonable behavior. Here's something else. He didn't call her, he texted her this. Who's to say the wife didn't text her from his phone? That I would not put past her. Last story. Am I the a-hole for wanting consequences for my stepdaughter after she threw out my daughter's contacts because she's getting bullied at school for wearing goggles? I, 43 female, have 2 kids, 16 female and 12 male. I also have 2 stepkids, Annie, 14 female, and Jamie. Annie's on the basketball team at school and has been playing basketball since she was young. She wears sports goggles on the court, which might have been fine as a kid, but now that she's a teenager, she's been getting bullied for it. Recently, a girl on her team took a photo of her during practice and spread it around. Annie has been begging my husband and her mom for contacts, but they think she's too young. Because of this, she's been acting out. My daughter plays tennis, and I allowed her to wear contacts at 11 because of it. Annie has been very obviously jealous of this, and recently went into her room and threw out her contacts. My husband just thinks she's frustrated, and that it'll blow over soon. However, it hasn't. I actually got a safe for my daughter's room because it's been getting so bad. I even allow her to lock her bedroom door before she leaves the house now. My husband thinks I'm teaching my daughter that it's okay to be distrustful of Annie and to guard against her. He feels that's unfair to Annie, who is just going through some hard times. I told him I wanted Annie to face some consequences for throwing out the contact lenses. But my husband just asked how I could expect him to punish a girl who is being bullied at school. I told him that if that's the case, my daughter will be allowed to keep her safe and her door locked. He thinks I'm being unreasonable and sowing discord between the girls. Not the a-hole. It sounds like your husband needs to pull his head out of his behind and let his daughter get contacts, as well as force her to apologize and face some form of punishment for her jealous lashing out at your daughter. He's torturing her by not allowing her to get contacts, knowing that she's being bullied because of their decision. He doesn't want to punish her because he knows his and her mom's decision has pushed her to her emotional edge. I agree, and I would really love for Annie to have contacts. It would stop the bullying and boost her self-esteem. I've been trying to convince him, but he and Annie's mom are convinced that she's too young and should wait until she's 18 to make the decision herself. I will continue to try to change his mind. Not the a-hole. Your husband needs to realize his child is being bullied, but he's also a bully. Not the a-hole. Annie's being bullied at school while your daughter is being bullied at home. It is completely fair to guard against Annie because she has proven she's untrustworthy. The discord between them is a direct result of his parenting choices, and your daughter does not deserve to suffer for it. Exactly this. Why should her daughter have to put up with being bullied on her own home because her stepsister is being bullied at school? Your whole comment hit the nail on the head. If he doesn't want his kid to be bullied, he should buy her contact lenses like she wants. It's literally that simple. But the actions of her parents refusing her request are what's causing her to be bullied. As a parent, I would do whatever I needed to prevent that. OP is right to allow her daughter to have a safe and lock her room, especially if Annie isn't going to face any repercussions for her actions. Being bullied doesn't give her the right to bully others out of jealousy. Not the a-hole. You've got a husband problem. His and his ex's parenting choices have created this crap storm. You aren't causing trust issues between your daughter and Annie. Annie's causing these trust issues because of her behavior towards your daughter, completely enabled by her father and mother who don't appear to be addressing the behavior.